So the next part was about Trey Lance and why he took him. Now, a lot of media guys, even Traeger, Sims, I think McVay even said he wouldn't be surprised if it was Mac Jones. But a lot of the guys knew that Mac Jones was someone that Shanahan likes, the Kirk Cousins mold, because everyone knows how much Shanahan loves Kirk Cousins. But he provided more glimpses into why it was Trey Lance. So, Grant, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like what he was basically saying is like, look, you guys were right. Mac Jones is the kind of passer I like. Yeah. He is. You're right. I mean, you guys know me, but I'm not necessarily looking for the best passer right now. I might be looking for the guy who most helps my run game. And it seems to me that all the cutting edge offensive coordinator coaches in the league who are run first have incorporated the quarterback into their run game. I mean, the Saints have, the Ravens have, the Patriots have, the Cardinals have. So it seems like the Niners are right there too. And if the Niners want to lead the league in rushing, which seems to be his goal, if he wants to run for 3,000 yards like the Ravens did last year, then they're going to need like 800 from their quarterback. And also, it seems pretty clear that when the quarterback is a threat like him or Lamar Jackson, that every running back on the roster's efficiency just skyrockets. Like everyone's averaging 5 yards a carry at least. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what big takeaway, that he's trying to go that direction, which is smart. I mean, he should be running the ball more. That's supposed to be the identity of the offense.
Yeah, so I'm 100% with you, Grant. And this actually all lines up because we got some good things that came up this week. Matt Barrows said that he believes, and I'm sure Matt Barrows is saying this from hearing it, that the 49ers want to have 500 carries between Raheem Mostert, Trey Sermon, and I forgot who he said is the third back. I think he might have said Wayne Gallman. I forgot, but he said 500 carries. So they want to really run the football. And I thought that he provided glimpses both on why it was Trey Lance over Justin Fields and why it was Trey Lance over Mac Jones. And, you get these glimpses in other places, but it was nice for him to just kind of put it all together without really trying to put it all together. The first things first with Mac Jones, right? He said it like you said. He said, yeah, you were right. Like Peter Schrager, you were right for thinking it was Mac Jones. McVay said, McVay kind of said it a little sheepishly, like, yeah, I was telling people when they asked me it was Mac Jones because based on what I'd seen on Alabama film and based on what I'd known being around Coach Shanahan and Kyle in Washington, like this is exactly what they look for. He keeps his eyes down the field. His feet dictate where he goes with the ball. He knows where to go with the ball. He's a very natural thrower. He even said hips, arm, everything aligns when he throws the ball. Another detail he said. So I thought this would be their quarterback. And Kyle was candid. He was like, yeah, you're right. It would be my kind of quarterback, as you mentioned, Grant. But he said, I've always been intrigued by the running element of the quarterback. So then that brings you to Trey Lance and Justin Fields, right? Because we talked about 500 carries he wants from his running backs, which means he wants to run the football next year. He wants to be the best running football
team.
Real
quick, I was just looking at the Ravens. They got 555 last year. So it's attainable. And if you want to be the number one rushing team in the league, it seems like the kind of stuff you got to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And he knows how creative his run game is. It's the most creative thing he does. He is the run game genius. And
the run game coordinator, Mike McDaniel, just got promoted. So there might be an even bigger emphasis. It's definitely going to be a bigger emphasis on the run game.
And they just gave Kyle Juszczyk a big contract.
That's right.
So everything.
And they just got a quarterback who's going to be involved. Yep.
Right. So that brings you to Trey Lance and Justin Fields. But it's the second part that got to me when he said you want at least the guy to have the potential to play from the pocket so that you can improve him and get there. And that's where I think Trey Lance had a little bit of an up on Justin Fields. Not that Justin Fields isn't good in the pocket, but based on what the 49ers are looking for in terms of being able to operate the under center play action game with precise footwork and timing, that was something Justin Fields did in college, but it wasn't as much of a pro-style aspect to the Ohio State offense as it was in the NDSU offense, which is why I think Trey Lance, he looked at and he said there's less to fix in terms of his ability to play in front of the pocket because it's already something he's comfortable with in a similar fashion. So I think that he provided glimpses. I know a lot of other people have put it all together, so I apologize if I'm reiterating it, but I think it all makes sense where, he did like Mac Jones, yes, but he wanted the 11 on 11 on football with Trey Lance and the run game. And then he wanted a guy with the potential to be good from the pocket. And Trey Lance can eventually develop into that. By all accounts, he's amazing mentally, and he's shown glimpses of the physical ability to do it consistently from the pocket.
Interesting. Yeah, so with the running, I just wanted to touch on something else that was said. But basically, when he was talking about 2019, he talked about how their main goal was to run as much as they could. And he said in the NFC Championship game, he's like, people harped on for Jimmy only having 8 runs. He's like, Jimmy only having 8 passes. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's like, why would I pass when I can just run every single play? And I think that goes to show, like, he wants to run the ball. And he said, in 2019, that was our main goal. And with our defense, it helped because we didn't have to, try to ramp it up and score a bunch. We could kind of slowly get into the game because our defense was so dominant. And he said he gave a few games where, they had to go berserk on the passing. But what I took away from that was basically, if their defense is one of the best, and I think this year should be improved, hopefully with, more health, that he's going to lean on the defense a little more to get stops, and he's going to try to grind out games more and just sort of run the ball down teams' throats. And that's what I kind of took away from it. And what better to do with a guy who's 6'4", probably 235, 240, and runs like he's just the biggest person on the field.
That's right.
And then plus, they're going to get the 4 other whatever running back they have is going to average 5 yards a carry. It really doesn't matter who it is. Yeah. I mean, Grant, you mentioned it too with a running quarterback, like specifically the Ravens, because when they do a read option and you're not blitzing, that running back's getting just a free lane up the middle, and that defender's frozen because you got to watch out. You're probably more scared of Lamar than any running back they're going to play.
Exactly. So J.K. Dobbins over there averaging 6 yards a carry. Is he better than Nick Chubb? No, but he's good, and he's in that offense. Yeah,
exactly. So I think the broad point being made, or that I'm trying to make, is he does want to run more. Vish, you mentioned he has one of the best run games. They brought back Juszczyk. They got some new old linemen. Banks is supposed to be a good run blocker.
He is a good run blocker.
It all points to their defense is going to be better. They can rely more on that. They just want to run the ball if every play possible. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see what they do with the running.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember something from the podcast in particular at this time. I don't remember the exact phrasing, but I think what McVay said at this point was he said that was surprising because, everything I've learned from you and Coach Shanahan is that you're always preparing for that 3rd and 7 where the quarterback has to drop back and he has to be in that drop back situation. He has to know where to go with the ball and be able to process information correctly and know where to go with the ball. And if you remember, I think at this point, this is when Kyle talked about Trey's potential to play from the pocket, which was like very awesome to hear. Trey Lance, we're all on the bandwagon. Yeah, I think Blake's even on the bandwagon. Jordan Love's bandwagon is going off the rails, so he's got to jump on something. But I'm joking. But he also mentioned about how he was an off-schedule quarterback at this point when he played through Pee Wee and Pop Warner, and he wasn't that great of an athlete, and how Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, those guys have so many reps in the pocket. It's almost as if they played like that kind of quarterback when they were 10 years old, and you can't really have that expectation because you're not sure if you can develop it. Like, guys can study it really hard and know where to go with the ball and throw the ball accurately, which to me screamed. He was talking about Kirk Cousins, but eventually you needed an added element of something, and having the quarterback have the ability to run makes it easier for you to call the game for them as a coordinator because you can limit drop back situations by having an extra weight to run the football.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that'll wrap up the Trey Lance topic. There was a couple comments got to get to.
Yeah, there's a couple super chats.
Let's see further up here.
I got them right here.
Awesome.
So Chris Royale says, guarantee the conversation happened and they were really kicking the table, but it came down to if they thought Jimmy could elevate Pitts.
Fair. I mean, it seems like something that coaches would talk about and fantasize about, but they actually wouldn't mention out loud to the owner because it's like, what are you talking about, right? But it's something coaches would want to do. It's a fantasy, but you can't actually do it. You can't sell it.
I mean, yeah, if you do that and he doesn't turn out to be great or Jimmy keeps getting injured,
it's bad.
You're looking for employment.
But he is the best player available, and it's never bad to take the best player available. It's usually a good thing, but I think Lance is good too. So
Yeah.
He's good too.
So they definitely couldn't have done it, but I do think it was something they did have to at least talk about because he was widely perceived as the best player in the draft, and he really seemed to be the perfect tight end prospect. I know people got on his blocking, but if you really watched him, he was a pretty good blocker, and he competed as a blocker. He just wasn't George Kittle, running Danielle Hunter over, blocking.
Is he a
in
worse
line.
blocker than Travis Kelce?
Probably not.
I mean, he's better than Travis Kelce at just about everything. Theoretically, he hasn't done it yet in the NFL, but just in terms of his skills, they're off the charts. And if Kelce was second in the league in receiving last year, then I think there's a place for. I think there's a place for Kyle Pitts in this league. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Absolutely, absolutely. But to me, the point is that you can't do it, but at least you have to have the conversation because of how generational the guy is.
Of course. Good question, Chris.
Thanks, Chris Royale.
Yeah.
And then my man Jason Aponte. First, if you're not subscribed to Jason Aponte on YouTube, it needs to happen now. This is one of the best content creators out there.
Who? Jason? Jason. I know Jason.
By the way, Grant, when I'm in the Bay,
when are you going to be in the Bay, by the way?
Month, July 23rd, I want to say. Jason's also there. So I said we all got to meet for the first time. But
I'm going to be on vacation from the 15th to like the 20th. So yeah, I'll be here.
All right, bet. But Jason says, Grant, this is specifically to you because you were out here saying that, Pitts is going to have more receiving yards than Julio and all of that. So he said, no sleeping.
I'm not sleeping on Julio. I just how much I like Kyle Pitts. I hold him in that high of regard. That high.
How many yards do you think Pitts will have this year?
2,000. About 2,000. Yeah, roughly, give or take. No question.
How are they going to run the football there? I know Arthur Smith theoretically wants to run the football. Who are they going to run the football with? Mike
Davis is quads. No.
Don't sleep on Mike. Oh, they signed undrafted free agent.
They're not going to run the football. That's what they're going to do. How about that?
and Hawkins. I'm pretty
They're not
sure
going to run the football.
Right, Vish?
That team's not that good.
Yeah,
Louisville guy.
Javion Hawkins is like a burrito. He's fast as hell.
He'll be good as like a second guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
somebody's asking,
but I'm sad.
Who is the special guest tomorrow?
Somebody's asking who's the special guest tomorrow. Nobody.
I can't tell. I can't tell you, even though I've already let it slip. But I'm not going to say it again. I'm going to say it tomorrow, just in case.
Oh, you already let it slip? Where'd you let it slip?
Sunil played a mind game on me, and he figured it out. He guessed, but he guessed in a way that kind of said like it, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, never mind. Anyway.
Well, nobody. You'll find out about who that somebody is tomorrow.
Yeah.
He might just.
And then my man Jamal says, hit me up when you're in the Bay. Would love to meet you, bro. Hey, Jamal, for sure. I will text you when I'm down there. I'm only there for 2 days, and the second day I'm going to be at a wedding. But that first day, 23rd, I'll hit you up, and let's definitely go out and meet and do something. Or I'm going to be back, too. I'm coming to a game this year in the Bay. So Levi's, first time. Grant, can't wait for the experience. Hopefully I can sit on the sun side and, get a nice tan on.
Be careful. Be careful. All right.
No, but definitely, Jamal, I'll hit you up.